I bet you didn't know that we can make this from this using automations in Glyphs 3. Well, you can, and it's really easy. Is start off by going to our information panel, and I'll just show you that I've only got one master here, and then in exports I've got one export of the regular size or the regular weight. I'm going to add an instance, and then we're going to call this regular italic. Make sure that the weight is the same as the regular weight, which is 400, and then remember to click italic of regular. And then in the custom parameters, we need to put some pre-filters in, and pre-filters are there to sort of solidify the shapes before we start making the italic versions. So we need to add a pre-filter to decompose, and then another pre-filter that is going to remove overlap. So that then prepares the letters for us to make them into an italic. So with those sorted there, let's go back to the font file, and then we'll choose one of the letters, doesn't matter which one, and we're going to go to path and transformations, and then we're going to let this become slanted. So as you can see, I've got a 10-degree slant on this. You can make it whatever you want. I tend to go somewhere between 7 and 12 depending on what style of font it is. We don't want to press OK at this stage because we don't actually want this to stay like this in this font. So instead we're going to click these 3 dots and go to copy filter parameters and then cancel. Just make sure that this goes back to normal so it doesn't look out of sync with the rest of the font. Going back to our info panel, just click this big space down here and then click Command and V to paste that filter into place. And as you can see, we've got transformations with a slant value of 10 degrees. So that will be then at the point of export, that's going to apply to all the font. It's going to give that 10-degree angle to it. First, let me just explain that this font has a double story A and a double story G. Traditionally, an italic would have a single story A and G. So again, on export, we're going to swap those characters out to make a real italic. What we're going to do is give it a command that essentially just says we're going to swap A for SS01, and same for the G. So let's go to custom parameters again and rename glyphs, and then where it says click here, we're just going to type in A equals A dot SS01 and G equals dot SS or G equals G dot SS01. So we have each command on each line, and that essentially just tells Glyphs to swap those characters out. Click OK and then go to features. Just as good practice, press update, and we are ready to export. So if we go to file and export, we're going to export it as a PostScript and OTF. Leave the remove overlap and auto hint on just because there's no reason not to, and then click next. So that's generated those files. Let's check out our new fonts. So essentially we've got a 2 weight or a 2 style typeface now. We've got a regular and an italic version of our font. So if we have a look at that, you can see that we've got that standard regular and we've got our italic regular with single story A and G. And it's as simple as that. So essentially you've just doubled the size of your font family. If you've only got one weight, obviously you now have one weight and an italic. But if you've got several weights, you've got all those weights of that original family, plus now you have the italic versions, and hence doubling the size of that font family. So for more type and glyphs tutorials, go check out one of these videos. Cheers.